Hey everyone, it's Maria here. Good to be here with you today. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And it's so good to be back. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience over the last several weeks or months. I think at this stage, with all the fires and everything, it's good to be back to work. And it's great to be back home. Hey, Lisa, good to have you here too. You're like everywhere. You're like omnipresent. It's great. So let's pop into the questions today. So I have been feeling very anxious about life lately. Do you know some exercises or practices I can do to help with that? Great question. It is a very general question. And the challenge with general questions is that I'm going to have to give a general answer. I'm okay with that. The more specific you get with your questions, the more specific answer I can give. Hey, Ursa. So yeah, you've been feeling very anxious about life lately, and you were asking if I know some exercises or practices that you can do to help with that. For sure. So there's a couple of things that are real basic things that we need to look at when we're looking at anxiety. And they are physiological things. So we have to look, when it comes to anxiety, we have to look at one factor in particular, which is the adrenaline cortisol loop. And so if you have a lot of anxiety, so when your anxiety comes up, you start to feel adrenaline, you start to feel like, when you're under pressure, you start to secrete your adrenaline. And after a while, in order to calm down from the adrenaline, you go into, you start secreting this hormone called cortisol. And what cortisol does is basically it dampens things down so that you're able to kind of get off the adrenaline and start balancing yourself out. Now, the challenge is that if you're very anxious all the time, once the cortisol starts putting your energy down a little bit and you start calming down, then you get another bout of anxiety and your adrenaline shoots up and then the cortisol comes up again to try and sort that out. Now, we're going to have a big problem because we're on this loop of adrenaline and cortisol all the time. And the biggest problem with that, of course, is that those hormones don't actually leave your body unless you do something physiological to get rid of them. So when people are in this loop, they generally reach out for a cup of coffee, which elevates your adrenaline levels, or they reach out for a glass of wine or whatever else substance that stops them from actually doing the natural cleansing process. So a natural cleansing process for those hormones to get them out of your system is gentle exercise, like cardio exercise, which means you get your heart rate up and you breathe. So this is one of the reasons why, like, breathing is one of the ways that you can also lower your level of anxiety. But the best combination is exercise and breathing. So that's why cardio is the most effective way of getting rid of anxiety. Because once you move, you start to physiologically get rid of the deposits of cortisol that are in your that are staying in your body. And if you don't move, if you just get more and more, whenever you get anxious, if you don't deliberately move yourself to try and rid your body physiologically from these hormones, what happens is that you get this massive you drown in them. You carry so much of it that it becomes difficult for your body to function properly, or your internal organs to function properly. So we need to make sure that we're whenever we're anxious, even if we don't feel like it, we need to go and take a walk. We need to go for a 10-minute run, or on the rowing machine or the exercise bike, or even just do push-ups. Even just do 10 push-ups if you're feeling like that. We need to get the body moving so that it can get rid of this accumulated levels of hormones, so that when you get anxious again, it'll be able to deal with those new hormones that are going to come in. So that's, if you're feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of kind of cyclical anxiety, that is imperative that you do that. If you've had a really difficult day, Like, let's just say that you go to you have a loss in your family and you go to a funeral. The next day you're feeling exhausted. That's generally what I call like a cortisol hangover. So you get through the day, but once the situation is over, you're just like exhausted from the whole thing. It's because your body is literally being held down with these hormones that are intoxicating your body, so keeping you toxic within. So movement combined with breathing, because actually your lungs are great at cleansing your body as well, are the best things. And drinking loads and loads of water. Like, even if you're in a space, and I know this space very well, where you're drinking diuretic substances like caffeine, like even if you are having that cup of coffee just to survive the day, have that cup of coffee to survive the day, but please, please, please drink water so that you give your body an opportunity to relax and to recover. And the same thing with, if you are drinking wine, if you're having a hard time, and you're really not dealing with your emotions very well, and you go on a bit of a bender today or to, whatever day, don't just say, okay, I went on a bender, so now I'm just going to slash every other tire from the car just because I had a puncture and I behaved in a way that I didn't like. Drink loads of water, get yourself back on track, give yourself some grace around difficult times, and get yourself inner parenting so that you don't just rely on those things, the coffees and the wines and whatever it is. So get to combat anxiety. 10-minute, 15-minute run or brisk walk first thing in the morning every day will keep that at bay and will give your day a really nice start. So not just the acute stuff, but on a longer term basis, just, keep yourself moving, keep yourself drinking water, give yourself some grace. You're doing your best. And then if you feel like you're not doing your best, then improve your game. But don't beat yourself up for it, because that ain't going to improve your game.